Hey guys, welcome to Gardening Upbeat and I hope you are doing very well. Chrysanthemum is one of the most popular flowering plants, and here in this video I am going to share many tips that many others haven't said you, and in fact nursery people hide from us. Many of my viewers wanted to know how to make them to grow in a round shape, something like this. Usually they grow taller and don't shape like this way. Please also note that it was the result from summer, and we all know chrysanthemum bloom well in winter, especially in tropical climate. Anyway, I am going to share everything with many more tips. Let's get started. Tips number 1. Grow drop variety for much fuller look. The round shape is very easy to gain, and for that you would need to grow the drop variety. For example, please take a look at this pot. Not a single leaf is visible and plants are not leggy. Note that drop variety plants are also going to get leggy if they don't get minimum 4 to 5 hours of direct sunlight. Tips number 2. For round shape, make sure to rotate the pot once in 7 to 10 days. This way growth on every side is going to be equal. Tips number 3. Grow more than a single plant in one pot. This is what most nursery people do to make the plants look more attractive. Chrysanthemum can be also grown in smaller pot and we can get good result. For example, take a look at this pot. It's only a 5-inch pot, but plant is flowering nicely. All other plants are also in very small pot but still flowering well. Now just imagine, if I grow such 3 to 4 plants in a single 10-inch pot, how attractive the pot is going to look. Tips number 4. Pinch 2 to 3 times if you grow from seedling, and especially if you are growing the taller variety. You can start pinching as soon as they are around 6 to 8 inches longer. Note that if you pinch too much, definitely you are going to get a much bushier plant, but flowering is going to take time. Tips number 5. Deadhead them once all the buds are bloomed, and please do it on regular basis. Though most of the chrysanthemum bloom only once per season, few produce blooms for the second time. Tips number 6. For fertilizers, there is nothing to worry too much. If you apply any balanced fertilizers once a month, it's more than enough. For example, you can apply 2 to 3 handful of either homemade compost or vermicompost once a month. Make sure you do apply some fertilizers as soon as you see that your plant is starting to produce the buds. During this time, you can also apply high pK fertilizers, as chrysanthemum needs lots of potassium at this stage. In case you are going to apply the same fertilizer, the dose would be half teaspoon in 1 liter water and apply directly in the soil. Tips number 7. They bloom well even if you are able to provide them minimum 3 to 5 hours of direct sunlight. So in case your balcony doesn't get whole day of sunlight, it's okay, and they are going to bloom well. But for the round shape, more sunlight would be needed. Tips number 8. Please water as soon as you see the topsoil is getting dry. Don't allow the soil to dry out too much at the time of budding, or else you may find black or wilted buds. Tips number 9. It's equally important to keep applying the pesticide on regular basis. Pests like aphids attack a lot in the budding stage. I already have a video where I have provided 5 methods to get rid of mealybugs. Same thing can be applied to get rid of other pests, and for more info, you can check out the video simply clicking on the I button on top right corner, or you would also find the link to that video in the description box. One important note: avoid spraying any pesticide if they are already starting to bloom. If you spray at blooming stage, color of the bloom is going to be get faded. Tips number 10. Don't throw them at the end of the season. You can easily preserve them for the next year. For example, here are some of my chrysanthemum plants from the last year. I need to prepare them for heavy blooms this year, means in winter. So let's see what I am going to do. You can do the same thing if you have plants from last year, or you can also grow new plants the similar way. Step number 1. I am going to repot 3 plants in a much bigger pot. It's 14 inches wider and deeper. Step number 2. For the potting soil mix, I prepared this way. Normal garden soil 40%, 30% vermicompost and rest 30% coco peat. Step number 3. It's time to repot them. Taking out the plant from the pot and then removing some of the old soil. Step number 4 is very important. I am going to cut down all these growths even though I can see the buds on them. It's somewhat painful process and I really feel bad. But all these growths are from summer and I am quite sure that they are not going to produce more flowers on these growths. For more flowers, I am going to need fresh growths, and so let's prune all the old growths. After some days, all these plants are going to produce new growths, something like this, and also from the stems which I have pruned. Step number 5. Going to add two powerful components so that they grow much faster. First one is one handful of mustard cake powder, around 50 grams. The second component is 50 grams of bone meal. If you have good soil, it's okay even if you don't add these components at this time, and make sure to decrease the dose in case you are going to use smaller pot. Step number 6. This is what you can do for your old chrysanthemum plants, and you can actually start doing this procedure from September onwards. In my place, this year it was too much hot in September to middle of October, and that's why I waited so that weather cool down a bit. Step number 7. It's time to water thoroughly. Many jasmine plants bloom in summer, but downy jasmine bloom in winter and it's the best time to grow. In case you are interested in knowing more, please do check out my next video. So that's all about chrysanthemum, and I hope you found this video useful. If you did, I would really appreciate if you give it a like, share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel if you are new to gardening update. Thank you very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Have a great time and enjoy.